Splat. I couldn't really decide what to build, so I went with this old truck. I'm suddenly reminded that this is a used kit and it may not all be here. The box is pretty full, however there does not seem to be a whole lot in there. As usual though, we're just going to rummage through the box, see what's all there, then we're going to dive into each sprue with a bit more detail. Now, being about 30 years old, this is actually in pretty decent shape. There are no signs of warpage, the A-pillars are nice and straight, and there's hardly any damage. In fact, the only imperfections I'm seeing are just all the scuffs and scrapes on the body from just banging around inside the box. Now, there are tons of parts molded in, not a fan of that, but you know we'll make it work. Wow, look at that. It's even got the hole for reaching in to lower the spare tire. It lines up straight. I couldn't be happier with this. That even fits better than that little S10 repop we just got from round 2. I may have spoke too soon because this is where things kind of go downhill. The tailgate's a bit wavy from when they molded in the ribs just to make it stronger. It looks like one of the rubber floor mats from the utility trucks is just molded in here. The center console's not correct. At least the gauge clutcher is molded separate from the actual dash because it is a different color. So I'll just make painting a bit easier. Now the steering column is not correct either. This should be the big box style because it should have the turn signal, the wipers, and the shifter all built into it. And I think they pulled this straight from the USA 1 monster truck kit because there's a little outline there if you want to cut the hood up so you can have that blower stick through. I really hope that doesn't ghost through into the paint. And next up we get that same rubberized coating built into the floor pan. On the rest of the sprue we'll find the wheel backs, the hubs, the exhaust manifolds, the mirrors, the air cleaner assembly along with an awesome serpentine belt setup. The belt itself is thin and it looks real good. And the alternator pulley's got the fan built into it. I could see individual blades there. That looks real good. And by the state of this sprue, I am super happy none of this is warped. And finally, on the end of the sprue there we have our drive shaft, and right above it we have our air dam. On a sprue all by itself we have the front bumper and the grille. I do not like how the headlights are molded in. That's never going to look good, but we'll do our best. Next up on this sprue we're going to have the majority of our chassis. Now the rear end they put under this truck is supposed to be the 14-bolt GM strongest rear end. That diff cover looks a whole lot like the 12-bolt that they had in the passenger cars. And I've heard nightmares about this exhaust not fitting and it just doesn't look right. So So other than the gas tank there, I really have no idea what the rest of these parts are. Now finally, we just have the rest of it, including the firewall, a spare tire, a louvered cover for the rear window, if that's your thing, a CB, various components for the engine. Now looking at the pan on the transmission, it kind of looks like a 4L80E, but I think these had the turbo 400s in them. I don't remember. Kind of raising an eyebrow because there are some small block Chevy parts there, along with the different air cleaner assembly and another serpentine plate setup. I'm kind of worried that this is a small block that we're just going to throw some big block parts on and hope it looks right. Now I know at the same time they released the yellow step-side truck. I'm wondering if they just shared a bunch of screws. Maybe. Not really sure. And just sitting all by themselves loose in the box is the rear bumper and another drive shaft. It's weird. I could have sworn this truck came factory with a roll pan. And here we'll find valve covers for both a small block and a big block. Now in this Brute we have both the factory wheels and some deeper aftermarket wheels. I'm really thinking this kit shares a ton of screws with that yellow step side. Look at that shifter though. The rod on that thing scales out to like 2 inches round. Look at that. Can you imagine grabbing that thing? Anywho, I'm looking very forward to stripping all this ugly chrome off and making this look better. And here we got 2 sets of tires, some skinny factory ones and some big old fat meats in the rear. Now they are trademarked with Goodyear on both sides, so we're just going to be looking at that no matter what. Now being old school, I love the fat and skinny look, so I'm going to figure out a way to make these wider tires work on the factory wheels. And I was just about to comment on how clean all these tires were, then I saw the mohawk on this one. I will however say these tires have some very unattractive tread patterns. Now this is what has me worried. So far it looks like everything has been here, so I'm curious why there's a piece of tape on this one. And for a kit with the headlights molded into the grille, there sure are a lot of lenses here. Outside of that, just like the body, for being 30 years old, this glass is in pretty good shape as well. And I'm hoping the tape was just to keep these parts in the bag, since they are kind of separated from the sprue. And I really wish these were molded in clear. Just if you wanted to build a box stock truck, there's no way to add the backup lights. You could add a dab of white paint just directly to the lens, but it never looks good. And that is super realistic for what people bought this truck for. Judging by the discoloration, I'm guessing this has never been unfolded before. Oh nice, I guess I was right about that transmission. As usual, I'm just going to pan through each step individually, just see what we're in for. And I could promise you, I'm not going to be painting any of this gloss black. Maybe the valve covers, but that's about it. Garnet red. You know, GM actually called that color Silverado. I'll be honest with you, I have never had to do that just to keep parts in place. I will also not be putting any of this ugly stuff on it either. In typical GM fashion, they were very subtle with the decals. I'm tempted to see what would happen if I filled it out and sent it in. All this was printed in April of 1991. So, yeah, about 30 years have passed, so just for the fun of it, I might fill that out and send it in, see what happens. So outside of that, I'm really excited to build this. I've seen them built up, and they do look very good. Not sure yet what color I'm going to go with. This was only offered in black in 91. However, in the following years, you could order it in white or red. So it will be one of those three colors.